So then guys, Apple just brought out the brand new iPhones, they've also brought out some brand new watches, and they've also brought out the AirPods Pro 3. But did you know there are a total of 17 things that Apple didn't tell you about at their awe-dropping event? Now there's possibly even more things out there, but I think 17 is enough for this video, and also to, celebrate that we're on the iPhone 17 models this year. And let's get started right away with number one, and that is all to do with the A19 Pro chip that's inside the likes of the iPhone Air and also the iPhone 17 Pro Max. That is actually faster than their main competitor out there, the Qualcomm Snapdragon Elite 8. That's right, in single core performance and in multi-core performance, it outperforms it. So this is fantastic news to hear that it's faster than competitors out there. Plus, there's also another little fact to add into that little area there, and that is if we actually look here on the benchmark, we can also see that the likes of the iPhone 17 Pro models and also the iPhone 17 Air with the A19 Pro have 12 gigabytes of RAM inside of them. But then the second thing that Apple didn't tell us about is that the brand new AirPods Pro 3, well guess what? When you buy them, when you open up the box, you're not going to find a cable inside anymore. Oh no. So you're not going to get USB-C cable. You're going to have to bring your own one along, maybe from your iPhone box, or maybe you just have to use MagSafe charging. So just be aware of that. But then for the third thing that Apple did not tell us about is that all of the iPhones are now Qi 2.2 compatible. So this allows up to 25 watts of charging with the phones. But funny enough, that does also lead me on to the fourth thing I want to talk about, and that is the likes of the iPhone Air can only go up to 20 watts of MagSafe charging. You can't even use 25 watts with Qi 2.2, even though it will work with a Qi 2.2 charger. But that is the maximum it can have. However, though, the likes of the normal iPhone 17 Air and also the Pro models, well, they can actually do 25 watts Qi 2.2 charging this time round. But sticking around with power and things like this, for number 5, Apple also introduced a brand new power adapter. This is a dynamic power adapter that actually charges at 40 watts but does have the ability to go up to 60 watts. It's a single USB-C charger, but they brought this out at the same time. They've just launched it, so this might be great for your new iPhone or new Apple accessories out there. But then for the sixth thing that Apple didn't really mention about, and that was with the iPhone Air, they were talking about the brand new C1X chips, the one that's been evolved from the C1 chip what came with the iPhone 16e. But did you know that the Pro models do not have the C1X inside of it? Nope, they've still got the old-fashioned Qualcomm chip inside of it, and this is the exact same chip that we had in the likes of the iPhone 16 Pro and also the iPhone 16 Pro Max. Then the seventh thing that Apple did not mention about, and that's to do with the Apple Watch SE 3, or the third edition of the Apple Watch SE, and that is the actual design of it is still exactly the same as the second generation, and that's the same design as the first generation. And in fact, that is the same design as an Apple Watch Series 4, and we're now on the Series 11. So that's how far back ago that design is. So yeah, it's quite an old design. So just be aware of that design is exactly the same as the previous SE models, what is based on the Series 4 design. But moving on to the eighth thing that the Apple didn't tell us about, and that is the USB-C port on the bottom of the iPhone Air. Now, with it having an A19 Pro inside of it, you'd expect USB 3.0 speeds, 10 gigabits, just like what we got with the Pro because of that chip. Nope, I'm afraid not. You've got USB 2.0 speeds. This is the older one, up to 480 megabits per second. That's how fast that port is going to be for you. But then moving on for the ninth thing that Apple did not tell us about, and that is the normal iPhone 17. Well, guess what? With that, you can actually plug it into a 40-watt charger this time, and you can get even faster charging speeds. What is brilliant news to hear, because we've only been able to go up to 18 watts of charging speeds in the past. So yeah, finally, this has been pushed right up to 40 watts via USB-C. So this is great news to hear. Now, funny enough, for the 10th thing I want to tell you about, what's quite weird here, you know I just said the iPhone 17 normal can go up to 40 watts? Well, guess what? The iPhone Air, that can only go up to a 30-watt charger. So you can only plug up to a 30-watt charger to make this work and charge with that. You cannot even go up to 40 watts with it. Now, for the 11th thing that Apple didn't really touch upon, and that was the AirPods Pro 3, guess what? They do not have a new chip inside of them. So you still got the H2 chip. We didn't get a H3 chip. So technically speaking, we've got the exact same chip as the AirPods Pro 2, what is the exact same chip as the AirPods 4, and really we just got a design change altogether. There's not much really going to be that much difference in how, you know, lossless audios or things like this. You're not going to get any of those extra kind of new features with the AirPods Pro 3 this time round. Then for the 12th thing, what was quite an odd one, right at the end of the Apple event, Apple showed the actual devices or the iPhones they still had for sale, and they said they had the iPhone 16e, they had the 17, the iPhone Air, and then the 17 Pro and the 17 Pro Max, but they forgot to mention that they are still selling the likes of the normal iPhone 16. That's right, you can still buy it, and I'm sure you'll still be able to buy it throughout the whole of next year. Plus, the price of it has come down by $100 US, so you can pick it up for $699 US instead of $799. Now, for the 13th thing that Apple did not mention, do you know how they talked to us about the new ceramic glass 2 that's come out? And for example, the iPhone Air has got ceramic glass 2 on the front and the back of it. Well, guess what? The normal iPhone 17 and also the Pro models have only got normal ceramic glass on the rear. Only the front glass is ceramic glass 2. So just be aware of that if you have shattered your previous iPhone's glass on the back, don't expect it to be any stronger this time around. Then for the 14th thing that you should be aware about, especially if you don't live in the USA or you live in a country where the iPhones are available with a physical SIM card slot, well, guess what? Your battery life is going to be sacrificed a bit because of that. Because of that SIM card, that physical SIM card, it means you are going to get a slightly smaller battery. So probably on average, when they were talking about their video view times, you know, how much better it was, well, that's probably going to go down by about 2 hours on average because of that space needed for the physical SIM, and that is obviously going to be affecting the iPhone 17 and the iPhone 17 Pro models. So just be aware of that. Then for the 15th thing that Apple didn't mention here, and I think this was quite a big one, that with the Apple Watch SE 3, that the storage inside of it is no longer 32 gigabytes. It's actually gone up to 64 gigabytes. And they didn't even mention this on their little sheet at the end where they talked about, you know, in summary, but it has gone up in size. It's doubled, it's now 64 gigabytes. But then sticking with the Apple Watch SE 3, for the 16th thing you need to be aware about, and that's also that the Wi-Fi technology is still quite old-fashioned, I'm going to say. It's still the usual old 802.11n, so this means that it can only connect to 2.4 gigahertz networks out there. It can't even jump onto the 5 gigahertz networks out there. So you can't even go on that with it. So just be aware of that obviously if you've set up your routers at your home, that you will not be able to do that. You have to have a 2.4 gigahertz available to actually use the Apple Watch SE 3 on it. Then finally, for the 17th thing that Apple didn't mention, I think this was another big one that they completely forgot to mention, and that is to do with iOS 26, iPadOS 26, watchOS 26, macOS, Apple TV, you get them. All of those operating systems that were talked about at WWDC 2025, well, you can officially download them this Monday coming. So that's right, September 15th is when you can download iOS 26 or all those new operating systems for the very first time. And I think this is something Apple should have mentioned at their event, but they just didn't mention it there. But really guys, those are the top 17 things that I think you guys should be aware about for the new products, and obviously with operating systems and things like this too, that you need to know. Are there anything else that you have noticed that Apple didn't really mention in their event? Well, let me know in the comments below. And with that as well, guys, it's time to wrap up the video too. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. As always, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell. Until next time, guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.